The wall between Mexico, not another country.
But he's not from Mexico.
In my opinion,
he's from Indiana.
He's Mexican heritage, and he's very proud.
Well, first of all, Dana, my heart breaks for this woman. I don't know her personally. I've certainly heard the story, and our heart breaks for her. And we want people to have healthy, happy families, and it's extremely unfortunate that sometimes, you know, medicine, the act of God, whatever happens, it just doesn't work out. And what the president has said, I think, very clearly is that...
Bro, did I forget to run the 3-minute hour ad break at the top of the hour after serving it to you? Like I said I was going to run it, and then I forgot. Is that what happened? I think I did. I said I was going to serve it, and I forgot it. I'm going to run it now. Here's the 3-minute ad break now.
That he is not trying to prevent women who have non-viable pregnancies from getting access to the medical care that they need.
But allowing the states to decide, a place like Texas, which has very strict laws now, doesn't allow a Kate Cox to end a pregnancy that is fatal and could potentially hurt her ability to have more kids.
But what President Trump has said is that we are going to let voters make these decisions. And again, Texas might have a view that President Trump disagrees with. They might have a view that President Trump agrees with, but you've got to let the voters make these decisions.
So you're comfortable with that law in Texas?
I'm not comfortable with anything, Dana, because I'm not passing judgment on what these laws should be. And you ask me my own personal view. I campaigned against an Ohio referendum, but I think that we have to let voters decide. And when they speak their mind, you have to be respectful. Agree or disagree with whatever voters decide, they're going to make these decisions.
Welcome back to State of the Union. Here's more of my interview with GOP vice presidential nominee J.D. Vance.
John King is doing a project talking to voters all over swing states. He talked to Republican voters in the critical swing state, must-win, I would say, swing state of Pennsylvania.
Of course.
One of them, Carol Carty, said she was almost a childless dog lady because she didn't happen to meet the right person until she was 40 years old. Another, Joan London, was offended that you don't think she has a stake in the future of the country because she doesn't have children. What do you say to key voters like that, Republicans, swing voters, who are put off by your views?
Well, what I would say, Dana, is if you look at what I said in context, the Harris campaign has frankly lied about what I actually said. I'm pro-family. I want us to have more families, and obviously sometimes it doesn't work out, sometimes for medical reasons, sometimes because you don't meet the right person. But the point is that our country has become anti-family in its public policy. Let me just give you an example of this. So after our second child was born, my wife and I, we have 3 little kids. After our second child was born, we get the baby home from the hospital. We get this ridiculous out-of-network medical bill that is financially shocking, and we're pretty well off. And that happened because we have ridiculous laws in this country that are anti-family. I've sponsored legislation to try to fix things like that so moms and dads don't get these surprise medical bills. I think it's important for us to be pro-family. That's all that I've ever said.
If you want to be pro-family, I want to, because you do criticize, as you just did, the Democratic Party for being anti-family.
I do.
You called out Kamala Harris and Pete Buttigieg in particular. Kamala Harris has 2 stepchildren. Pete Buttigieg and his husband have adopted twins. Do you recognize them as parents and more broadly as being part of families?
Well, of course I do, Dana. I mean, you know my life story. I was actually...
So why'd you say they're childless cat, or that they have no stake in the future of this country then?
Of course.
I was raised, but Dana, I was raised. I mean, one of the first people that I gave a hug to after my RNC convention speech was my stepmom, who's been an incredibly important person in my life.
So she's not childless.
My kids call her Mamaw. Of course, she's not childless, but again,
you called her that.
The criticism. I certainly did not call my own stepmother childless.
Kamala Harris.
I criticized Kamala Harris for being part of a set of ideas that exists in American leadership.
Dude, if I get comstered this hard by Dana Fash, I'm myself. Like, I didn't realize how bad this was. Like, I genuinely didn't know it was this bad. That is I'm Brian me, you know? Holy this is one of the craziest, like, this is 22 minutes of just like getting shellacked. I've never seen somebody just get whipped around so hard. Like, this was like ha funny. Okay. At first he's like, oh yeah, Trump said I'm weird. It's cool. I am weird. It's fine. Like, whatever. And now it's like, why do you think your stepmother is not actually a real mother because of your statements about Kamala Harris, who has stepchildren?
that is anti-family. I never, Dana, criticize people for not having kids. I criticize people for being anti-child. And I do think that Kamala Harris has made some bizarre statements. She has said things like it's reasonable not to have children over climate change. I think it's the exact opposite message we should be sending to our young families. I want to expand the child tax credit. I want to stop those surprise medical bills. I want to make housing more affordable so that if you have a young family, you can actually afford to put them in a home. And I think that it is unfortunate that so much of our public leadership is becoming...
I don't get it. So you're mad that Kamala Harris was saying, like, it's okay if you don't want to have children? Like, that's the problem? You have an issue with that? Do you want to force people to have children? I know the answer to that question. It's yes, okay? The answer is yes. He wants to force people to have children.
Anti-family. One final point on this, Dana. If you go back to the COVID era, one thing that really frustrated me and motivated some of these comments is we were at a point where we were kicking kids out of school. We were masking 3-year-olds and putting the masks back on them, even as they were trying to rip them off at school. I think that if we had more people who took the right perspective and had a little bit more understanding of how little kids actually operate, we would not have made so many of those mistakes during COVID.
That's a whole nother conversation because
no,
people didn't know.
Related to this
because people didn't know as much because it was literally a novel virus.
But Danny, you asked me about okay. You've now asked me 3 questions about comments that
God, I mean, she's right. Like
I made 3 years ago. I wonder what Kamala Harris thinks about the fact that she supported policies that opened the American southern border. I wonder what Kamala Harris thinks about the fact that she lied to the American people about Joe Biden's middle facility for the office.
Bro, I've never seen someone, Dana unlocked Ultra Instinct that she only reserves for like brown women that are pro-Palestine. Like she's treating JD Vance like he's Mahmoud Abbas or something. Like she's ripping into JD Vance like JD Vance is you know, a third year that said Israel's just really repugnant.
You are interviewing me, Dana, because I respect the American people enough to sit down for an interview.
I appreciate that.
Kamala Harris has been the nominee for 3 weeks. She hasn't sat down for a real interview.
Believe me, we are asking. You're not going to get a disagreement there.
But the point is, Dana, you've got me for 15 minutes or however long you have me. We should be talking about public policies that matter. How are we going to lower inflation? How are we going to reduce the cost?
Bro, she's bending him over so hard. You can, she can see what he had for dinner yesterday. She made him eat sushi before. She was like, sushi only, keep it light, maybe some fruit.
Cost of food and housing. How are we going to close down that southern border? We've talked so little about that. We've talked a lot more about a sarcastic remark I made.
What? Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't realize saying bottom-friendly foods was bad. I didn't realize it was illegal, okay? Why do you know this? Bitch, what do you mean? I've lived in West Hollywood for 10 years, dude. Don't question my gay street cred.
3 years ago, I think we should talk about the issues that most Americans care about.
I only asked you one question about that. I asked you about policies, and I was asking about...
And I'm a staunch advocate of bottoms' rights.
The military record that you brought up, nobody else did, of Tim.
Damn, bro, if only Cole was still in here, he'd be like, I knew it. I knew he's definitely gay, bro. He's talking about bottoms. He's gays, bro. Still thinking about Cole, my man Cole.
Walls. One last question. This is on policy.
Please.
The Federal Reserve.
Yeah.
Donald Trump said this week that he feels strongly that the president should have at least a say when it comes to the Federal Reserve and how to handle interest rates. Do you agree that a president should direct the Federal Reserve on how to handle interest rates?
Well, not direct. That's not what he said. He said the president should have a say, but one, I absolutely agree with what he said.
Right now, the president doesn't have a say.
Well, the president has a say in the sense that the president appoints the Federal Reserve governors. But he's saying, to be clear, President Trump is saying, I think, something that's really important and actually profound, which is that the political leadership of this country should have more say over the monetary policy of this country. I agree with him. That should fundamentally be a political decision. Agree or disagree, we should have America's elected leaders having input about the most important decisions confronting our country.
That would be a huge change, just so people understand that.
It would be a huge change, but whether the country goes to war, what our interest rates are, these are important questions that American democracy should have important answers for. And I think all President Trump is saying is that, look, it's kind of weird that you have so many bureaucrats making so many important decisions. If the American people don't like our interest rate policy, they should elect somebody different to change that policy. Nothing should be above democratic debate in this country when it comes to the big questions confronting the United States.
Okay, one last question.
Please.
And I can't believe I have to ask you this, but I do, because Donald Trump has been attacking Kamala Harris's racial identity.
He has not been, but ask your question.
Well, he questioned her racial identity. He said a number of years ago she happened to turn black. Her father is Jamaican. Do you believe Kamala Harris is black?
I believe that Kamala Harris.
It's just like, if only there was a body of the government that could also do, like, obviously not monetary policy, but fiscal policy, if they wanted to do like deflationary things that, you know, responded to democratic pressures. I just can't seem to put my finger on how that would work, though, because I like that. I like the idea of having like, you know, people having a say in what happens in the economy. But I just can't seem to think of a body of the government where maybe like people could get together and deliberate on such decisions, and then maybe they could like write rules. Like I guess I could think of like one deflationary mechanism, like a fiscal policy, like tax, not breaks, but tax hikes. Oh well, I can't really seem to put my finger on what that would be like. What's JD Vance's current job? Oh, that's right, he's a senator. That's cool, man. That's certainly, you have no power on this process. I don't know. What was I thinking?
Is whatever she says she is. But I believe importantly that President Trump is right that she's a chameleon. She pretends to be one thing in front of one audience. She pretends to be something different in front of another audience. Look, Dana, she's not running.
Dog, you literally were a liberal until like 2 years ago. You can say she's black. Like, she's just black. I don't know why you're doing this thing. It's additionally weird because your wife is Indian and your children are mixed. Your children are half Indian, half white. Kamala Harris's father is black. Kamala Harris's mother is Indian. So like, you have a unique closeness to this issue. You feel me? Like, you are uniquely closer than the average American, as a matter of fact, to the situation that you are addressing currently. You're definitely closer than Donald Trump. He's literally calling her a code switcher. He's not even saying that, though. He's just making it seem like Kamala Harris ceases to be black at a certain point. Like, there's a way to be like, what would you say? I guess there's a way to be like, yeah, she code switches, but that's like normal politics anyway. But claiming that someone is pretending to be black when they are black is going to come across as very weird to everyone with a brain cell, especially black people.
Running a political campaign, she's running a movie. She only speaks to voters behind a teleprompter. Everything is scripted. She doesn't have her policy positions out there. She hasn't answered why she wanted to ban fracking, but now she doesn't. She wanted to fund police, but now she doesn't. She wanted to open the border, but now she doesn't. She should have to answer.
Like, she's not even like logic level. You know what I mean? Like, she's very obviously black. That's the other part. Like, it's not like she's like a quarter black or something and very light skin and whatever. Like, she's just like clearly black. She went to Howard. Like, what the? She's a part of the Divine Nine. Like, it doesn't get more black than that. That's just black. Like, what the? These are things that most white people don't even know. Okay, that's how black it is. Okay, like, it doesn't make any sense. And yes, non-black people can go to Howard and historic black colleges as well. But it's like, what are we talking about? Like, who are you talking to when you say this? I guess I don't know.
For why she presents a different set of policies to one and a different set of policies of another. Look, Dana, she's not running a political campaign. She's running a movie. She only speaks to voters behind a teleprompter. Everything is scripted. She doesn't have her policy positions out there. She hasn't answered why she wanted to ban fracking, but now she doesn't. She wanted to fund police, but now she doesn't. She wanted to open the border, but now she doesn't. She should have to answer for why she presents a different set of policies to one and a different set of policies to another. And I think that's what President Trump is getting at. This is a fundamentally fake person. She's different depending on who she's in front of.
With respect, you
Please?
changed your position on an important thing, which is Donald Trump.
Of course I did.
And so why are you not a chameleon?
Because, Dana, I've explained to the American people what's different. People change their minds when the facts change. They should. But if you want to be the people's vice president or president, you should have to stand before an interviewer and say, this is why I changed my mind. So to everybody who's seen that I criticized Donald Trump, since he asked the question, here are two things.
You didn't just criticize him. You said he could be America's Hitler.
Well, that's a criticism, and I didn't say that exactly, but set that to the side. What I said about Donald Trump and what I believed about
Like you're looking like a flip-flopper right now, dog. You are looking like an unserious flip-flopper currently.
Donald Trump, two things that really change. First of all, I didn't think Donald Trump would be a good president. He was a great president. Wages were rising. The world was more peaceful. Remember, when Donald Trump was running for president the first time, they said he would start World War III. He brought more peace to the world than any president of my lifetime. The second thing, Dana, is I believed, and I'm ashamed of it, I believed a lot of the media lies about Donald Trump in 2016. I believe that he said...
I think this is such a funny thing to like, this is such a funny patch-up job for JD Vance to be like, I was a 35-year-old idiot. Like, I was duped by the media in my young-ass age, okay? They duped me when I wrote a book and was doing my tour on MSNBC. I was a 35-year-old baby who believed the mainstream media lies. Like, come on, man. You look like an unserious dumbass. And you look like you got eyeliner on. Fix your face, bro. Fix it.
Things like, for example, the media said Donald Trump accused all Mexicans of being rapists and criminals. You actually look at what he said. He did not say that at all.
Yeah, he said there, and some I suspect are fine people. He said Mexicans are rapists, drug dealers, and murderers, and some I suspect are fine people. That's the full quote. Come on, dude. What are you saying? How are we still arguing on this front? Donald Trump, this is here. I'll give you guys a rare one that many people have forgotten about. Donald Trump once had a court case, and the judge was obviously an American judge of Mexican descent. He argued to take the judge off of his case because he said he's Mexican and therefore probably has biases against me. Okay? Like, that's just like, what do you mean? You're like, oh, that's a Mexican judge. Substitute that for black. Okay? I understand what that is. Okay? It's kind of crazy that he's had so many insanely moments that, like, we basically forgot about it. We forgot about half of them because it's impossible to keep up with it. But yeah, he just straight up was like, yeah, no, that judge is Mexican. Like, we have to. He tried to argue in court from a profoundly position that no Mexican judge can adequately try him without personal biases. Did he lie? Yes, brother. You can't say that. What are you talking about? Like, there's a conflict of interest argument that you can make if the judge knows you personally, okay? Judges get recused all the time. Being Mexican is not a conflict of interest. What the f? He's not even Mexican. He's American of Mexican heritage. What the f?
When Hillary Clinton says this is an attack and you reject that, if you are saying he can't do his job because of his race, is that not the definition of race?
I don't think so at all.
No?
No, he's proud of his heritage. I respect him for
You're saying he can't do his job because of it.
Look, he's proud of his heritage, okay? I'm building a wall. Now, I think I'm going to do very well
He's a
with
legal
Hispanics.
citizen.
You know why I'm going to do well with Hispanics? Because I'm going to bring back jobs, and they're going to get jobs right now. They're going to get jobs. I think I'm going to do very well with Hispanics, but we're building a wall. He's a Mexican. We're building a wall between here and...
Damn, he was like way faster, dude. God damn. Yo, he aged, bro. That's crazy. He was like way more confident too. He is so auraless, bro. He's got no frizz.
Mexico. The answer is he is giving us very unfair rulings. Rulings that people can't even believe. This case should have ended years ago on summary judgment. The best lawyers, I have spoken to so many lawyers, they said, this is not a case. This is a case that should have ended. This judge is giving us unfair rulings. Now I say why. Well, I'm building a wall, okay? And it's a wall between Mexico, not another country.
But he's not from Mexico.
In my opinion,
he's from Indiana.
He's Mexican heritage, and he's very proud.
Oh, God, what a insane. He's not from Mexico. He's from Indiana. Oh, oh my God. Banger after banger with this one. I swear, dude. Now look at
that.
them.
I think it's important when you see something, you change your mind, and that's all I've done. And my pitch to the American people would be, I imagine a lot of folks who are thinking about voting for Donald Trump in 2024, maybe they've bought in to the media lies about him. Think for yourself, look at what he actually said, and I think you'll find that he's, one, a very engaging guy, but two, was a very good president.
There aren't media lies. We play him and we let him speak for himself, and so people are getting exactly.
I'm not accusing you of lying, Dana. You know I like you, but
no,
the media lies from time to time.
I know you're not, but people hear him for himself. Last question. Please. Are you going to debate Tim Walz?
Of course. I want to debate Tim Walz. I think it's important, and I think that it goes to a very fundamental difference between the Trump-Vance.
How do you think Vance is coming off the slightly conservative normies? To us, he sounds ridiculous right now. And to MAGA, he probably sounds like a genius. But I can't judge what the standard conservative, politically illiterate public thinks. I think he's being shellacked pretty aggressively. So he doesn't have enough charisma to actually salvage his reputation. The best possible thing that by just looking at approval ratings, and he is underwater for the most part. I think he has, like, if you simply listen to him, sometimes he can come across as moderate. The problem is he has so much. He has spoken so consistently about some of the most unhinged, most insane that ultimately it doesn't really matter. Like Matt Walsh glazed him, but Matt Walsh is not a normal conservative, right? Matt Walsh is insane. I keep reading on Twitter that JD Vance got destroyed and embarrassed on Sunday, but every clip I see is making him absolute mincemeat of the hack journals interrogating him. Never has an embarrassing performance been this masterful. Like, there's a reason why he has unimaginably low approval ratings, because the thing is, the media is pretty well equipped at, like, dunking on guys like this, and there's blood in the water. There's blood in the water. And they see it. Like, it's so easy to just on him. He has said so many insane things. You can do to make a better analysis on this, to understand exactly how the public